Well, what's going on, everyone? My name's Tom. This is Best of Builds, and if you've ever thought about starting your own woodworking business or any trades business, you need to watch this video because I'm going to tell you the most important tool that you need starting out to build your business. So let's get started. All right, so you want to start a woodworking business. There's a lot of tools that you need to do it, right? But there's a lot of business tools that you need too, and they're the less obvious ones. They're the ones that people don't really talk about enough. And this is one of the most important things that you need starting out, okay? And that is a portfolio, all right? Now that kind of sounds dumb, but you need proof of what you can do. It's, you know, back in the day, carpenters used to make their own toolboxes and they'd be all laid out with dovetails and everything else. And that was kind of their like resume, like, hey, look at this thing that I could build. Well, we live in the digital age now, and people are gonna look you up online. You need to have a website and you need to have pictures of your work on there. And here comes the problem. So just like when you get out of high school or you get out of college and you're trying to find a job, and they all say, oh, you don't have enough experience. Well, how can I get experience if I don't have a job, right? How can I get jobs in woodworking, the skilled trades, anything like that, if I don't have something to show? Now, to be transparent, I didn't start off as a woodworker. I started off as a carpenter. I went to college for business and accounting, and I geek out on all that kind of stuff. But started off as a carpenter, and then I transitioned into just doing finished carpentry from doing commercial work. And like I had a whole crew and stuff. We were doing build-to-suit, custom remodels. And this is when I first started trying to build that portfolio and build my reputation and everything else. And this is the hard part because you need to pay the bills. So yeah, sometimes I was still building decks and framing and doing drop ceilings and stuff like that. But you can't just depend on word of mouth for a couple of reasons. One of them is if I was doing drywall jobs, word of mouth would probably just get me more drywall jobs, okay? Also, if I'm trying to get into woodworking and I'm not very good at it, negative word of mouth is gonna really impact me. So you really just can't depend on word of mouth. So this is where things kind of get tricky. And especially when you're first starting out, you need to understand that sometimes you're going to have to charge less money than it's actually worth. Okay. And that cost is going into you figure it's the cost of your portfolio. It's an education cost, things like that. Now listen, I'm all for charging more money. I charge as much money as I possibly can. And you should too at some point. But I've been in business for over 5 years now doing just the fine carpentry thing, and now woodworking and cabinetry and things like that. I can get away with it. But early on, sometimes you got to give a discount. Sometimes you got to underbid people. People don't have the portfolio to show. Then you have to do some things to build some trust. Okay, so that's kind of the number one thing, is that you're going to have to take a haircut sometimes. You're not going to be able to charge maybe as much as your skill level could be there, and you still can't charge that much because you need the proof. You need the resume. So that's kind of your first step to build that, is to maybe charge a little bit less until you earn that reputation. And that's assuming you have the skill level. If you don't have the skill level yet, you really shouldn't be in business. Okay, that's trust me, I wing it all the time and do things that I've never done before for the first time, and I'm doing it on the customer's dollar and stuff like that. But early on, especially if you don't have like the core skills, the cut, measure, you know what I mean, the things like that, it's really difficult to try and start a business and have it be like your business, like your way of life. Because I'm assuming if you're watching a video like this, you're probably sitting on the toilet, getting paid by your boss. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for taking your precious toilet time to watch me. I really appreciate it. If you're not on the toilet and you're actually eating or watching this on TV, hey, that's awesome. That's no bigger compliment you can pay me. But yeah, so that's kind of number one, is that you're not going to be able to charge full price when you first start out. But you have to think about that discount as it's just the cost of building your portfolio. It's the cost of building your resume. Okay. There's another way to go about it too, though. So let's get into that. Okay, so here's the other way to build that portfolio, and it's work for free. I know you probably don't want to hear that. You're probably going to work for like negative money. It's probably going to cost you money because you got family, they want stuff. You know how to make stuff. Make them stuff. And, you know, give it as gifts. Make your own stuff. Put it in your place. One, you're kind of honing your skills, but two, you're making things. You know what I mean? And when you do that, you're building that portfolio, you're building your skill level, things like that, and you're learning some hard lessons without a customer breathing down your throat, which is nice, trust me. So yeah, that might be kind of the unpopular opinion, but make stuff for free, give it away, build some tables, coffee tables, things like that. This is where you can really kind of experiment and mess things up. And listen, my own house, I remodeled my own house. My office is laid out with like a gorgeous feature wall. If you watch my walnut whiskey cabinet, that's in my office. That's my office. You know what I mean? I've wainscoted, crowned, all that sort of stuff. I've built cabinets for family members for holidays and things like that. So yeah, work for free. And I know that you can't see it on camera, but a gnat just attacked me. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, because trust me, this isn't a get rich quick scheme. You're in the wrong line of work if you think you're going to be an overnight millionaire. So yeah, maybe you have to work for free. You got to pay some dues. It's the cost of education. You can go to a trade school and get a certification. That costs money. Maybe your boss pays it. Maybe you pay. You can go to college and get a degree. That costs money. This is no different. It's just an education cost, and it's building out that resume, which is all important. So you got two ways to kind of get the work. Now let's focus on the next most important part, is taking advantage of it. Don't worry about what's in that cup. Okay, and so the third one is, you got the jobs, you made the things, you build them. Now you got to take pictures of them, okay? And I struggled with this too, but you have to really put some effort into learning the skill of making your stuff look good on camera, okay? And if you're not good at the skill, get good at the skill. There's tons of ways to do that. Like, that's just an excuse. You can't deposit excuses, right? I wore the proper shirt today. But find a way to get good at the skill. You need to take really good photos in really good locations, you know, stage them up, put things on the table, things like that, because that's going to make a huge difference. And you want it to pop. You want things to be up close and personal as best you can, you know, show the details. And then also, do not forget video. Video has become everything. I mean, you're watching a video right now, so obviously you see how important it is. One of the higher ups at Instagram was being interviewed, and they asked him why they were pushing video and not pushing photos anymore, and he said, it's not that we're pushing it. He says, people just aren't looking at the photos, they're watching the videos instead. So video is everything. So take video of your stuff, take multiples, take lots of pictures, learn how to crop and edit and do all those things so that you get the most out of the time and money or whatever you invested to get these initial things, and always get better at it. And then build a social media. It's like, if you want to think, you can go look at my stuff right now. My company's Best for Fun Carpentry. Everything I've made under that name is on Instagram. And then bestforfuncarpentry.com. If you want to go see, maybe I'm a schmuck and I'm not good at my job, you can go determine that for yourself. But yeah, those things are so important. And I can't tell you how many times like customers have said, yeah, your work looks amazing. That's why we're going with you. That's why I can charge as much as I charge, because I don't have a ton of competition, and because they see my stuff and they go, okay, I want this guy doing this thing for me. So just keep that in mind. That's the crucial step to it, to building out that portfolio. And you'll notice, if you look early on, if you go way down on my Instagram, my photos got better, and then I started putting video in there, and then that got better, and then here we are doing a video right now. But you want to keep things interesting. That's why you notice that I've moved the camera for all of these, just to try and keep it more interesting. So if you do those things, you build the portfolio of work itself. You know, you build the social medias. Instagram's where I get most of my clients, actually, but Facebook's important too. But 90% of my clients come from Instagram or my website. And then you just keep at it and you keep building that thing. And then sooner or later you can charge more. And then, you know, the next time you're watching a YouTube video while you're pooping, you're not getting paid for it because you're self-employed. So I want to thank you guys. Also, I have members now. I don't have any members, but I'm eligible for it. There is like a members only video there. but I kind of want to do like a Q&A thing. So if you're into the business stuff, like, you know, maybe join. That would be cool. You can ask me anything you want. You can ask questions and I'll try and answer them. Maybe we'll even do live streams. I have no idea. I'm just pumped that it's an option. So thank all of you. If you got anything out of this, please like, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thanks.